Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech and Tidy, the show where we talk business with people keeping the world clean and systems running. I'm your host, Brent, and this is our very first episode. And what a privilege it is to be joined on our inaugural episode. I've got here Matt Pencarinha. He's the founder of Assett Commercial Services, and he's built a cleaning franchise from the ground up. And we'll get to hear from him about how he's done it, challenges he's faced, and where he sees things going in the industry. So, Matt, really an honor to have you on our show.
Glad to
Our
be here,
first
Brent.
episode.
Yeah, glad to be here. And it's been a while since we last met at ISSA
Yeah.
over in
Yeah.
Vegas. What a
I
time,
know.
right?
Yep. And I'll hope to see you again this year. Are you going to be there?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got some questions here. Let's dive in for our listeners here, for our and all of our businesses that are involved in the janitorial industry, folks like yourself that started out from the ground level and are looking to see how to build up their operations, build their company, build their dreams. So,
Sure.
Matt, how did you get started in the cleaning industry?
Oh, man. Okay, so I talk a lot about how, at least on the YouTube channel with the franchise, how we got started so fast just a few years ago. And that's really the Assett story. That's the one that I founded here. But the cleaning journey actually started long before that. So graduated from college, got a really nice corporate job, found out that the corporate grind was not my kind of grind. Nor my wife, we just got married, and all the guys I was working with are making a lot of money, but they were divorced, had, all kinds of stuff going on in their lives. And I was like, I don't want to be lonely and just have a job. Right. So I left that cushy role, learned a lot about business. I had a business degree going into it. And my mentor was like, you should check out this guy who has his own small business. Joined him for $10 an hour. Went from that high corporate height, right to $10 an hour. It was humbling, man. Walked in and his business was it was in shambles, man. Like it was the classic small business that needed a lot of help. So he had cleaning, he had lawn care, and he had facility maintenance going on. So I came in as his $10 per hour vice president and shadowed him around. And 3 months in, he decided to shut it down. It was that messy. Yeah, it was that bad. I guess I made it worse by showing up. I don't know. But anyhow, he said he was going to just give away some of his accounts to a neighbor. And I was like, well, shoot, man, I've worked for you. Like, I'll buy the supplies. I'll at least pay you for your supplies. So I paid him $500, and he gave me like one employee and a few of the accounts. And that's how I initially got into the industry. That was back in 2014. Around that time. So we did houses, I did restaurants, did some commercial. It was the classic, business that people, when they think of starting a cleaning business, they just take everything, and that's what I was doing, and it was hard. It was very hard.
What kept you motivated? I mean, going from a corporate salary down to $10 an hour and doing this is tough work,
Oh man, it was the autonomy. And at that time, when I told people, I had a lot of friends, out of college too, and they just, they go get jobs like I had or different careers, right? And they'd say, what are you doing now, Matt? I'd say, oh, I have a cleaning business. And they'd almost look down on me. They'd be like, oh, okay. It's like not interesting, right? It's like, oh, Matt just kind of quit on his career. It's the way like their tone carried. That affected me as a young guy. And so I wasn't proud initially to be in the cleaning industry, but I loved the autonomy and freedom. I struggled with the growth. We did turn it around and sell it at some point, not in a glorious amount by any means, but it was semi-successful, but it was a real struggle. So it was, yeah.
Yeah. Would you say the very beginning was the hardest point, or did it get tougher? What would you say was kind of the lowest trough in that journey with that first company?
Yeah, I think with your first company, everything is new. So even when it comes down to insurance, I remember talking to my wife on the phone. I had a job offer. So we had clients we had worked with when I was shadowing this guy, and I had a really nice job offer from one of the property managers to come join their team. So I could go to that immediately, start picking up a salary, start a career in property management, or I could pick up this thing in shambles and just see what happens. And I remember talking to my wife on the phone, walking down the guy's street. We worked out of his house. It was so ghetto. And I was like, I don't even know how to do insurance for this. Like, where do I even start? Like, how do bank accounts work for a business? Like, is it different? Do you have to have a certain amount in there? Like, there was just all the basic questions, right? So when you're starting off, everything is so new that it is quite overwhelming and stressful. Right? But then what happens is, as you grow, you encounter new things that you need to do in order to grow and to get out of that initial, I call it the infant stage of the business. So there's always those elements that are there. So it's hard to say which is more stressful. So when years later, we'd done a few more businesses between that one and then this one. So when we started this one, I already knew what I was doing. I already knew what I didn't want to do. I knew all the basics, and it was just, let's go, right? So you checked off all that learning curve.
Yeah. So would you say that most of it you were just able to figure out on your own? Did you have a mentor, or what was the learning process when you encountered some question that you didn't know the answer to off the bat?
Sure. I believe that a lot of, as far as how I operated, I'd read a lot of books. I had a very good mentor. He wasn't in the cleaning industry, but he was someone I respected in the business world. Very good Christian man. And I had other mentors along the way as well that he introduced me to, and a lot of inspiration from those guys. So there was this, he couldn't really advise me on the specifics in the industry, but he got me in front of people that showed me what was possible. Right, like there was one of his friends who we got to go hang out with him. He made like $20 million in the paving industry. So I got to go to his house, fly in his helicopter, hang out with him, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, like there's people that are broke in the paving industry. There's people who are like this guy, and there's billionaires in the paving industry. Same in the commercial cleaning space. There's people who are broke in it. There's people who are doing okay, and there's people who are billionaires. You look at like Service Master, right? So there's at every stage. So for me, it was unlocking belief about what was possible, and that's where the real value of that mentorship came in initially. Now, after I sold the business, suddenly I got hit with all kinds of ideas. Once I was free, like my mind could rest, and I was like, man, like I should have done this, and then that, and then this, and then that. And I started doing research and all these things, and suddenly the whole thing was far more possible than it ever was before. And so still had some other mentors, and with our own company, we hired consultants and things like that at different points. Very expensive to go the consultant route, like those guys, like the New York guys.
Yeah.
But we did it. So we got a lot of formal education that way.
Interesting. So yeah, a couple things that would be interesting to unpack. You mentioned the consultants. Did you feel like it was worth it? You got your money's worth from it?
So when it comes to consultants like that, and even I'm in the space of consulting as well, not like those New York guys, that's a whole nother game right there. But what you essentially have to realize is you can take whatever money you have or whatever earnings your company's putting out, right? And you can go put it in the stock market, and get yourself 10%, lately 20%. It's been wild. Or you can take that same amount or even a less amount and turn it into a multi-hundreds or multi-million-dollar business, right? The difference there is, do you know what you need to do and when you need to do it and how to do it? And so whenever you're buying the information, is the way that I saw it, if I can just pay for that information, the way it materializes is in a bigger and better business, then I can skip all these learning curves. I can skip all the pain that I went through with my initial business. And once I had a baseline of understanding, then I was able to apply the knowledge even better after that. So you just have to realize that you're either going to pay for it with your time. It's going to take you 10 years to get there, or you're going to pay for it up front and get there in half or way less than half the time.
So it's kind of like a playbook, right?
Yeah.
Building your playbook.
Yeah.
For anyone who's starting on this path of entrepreneurship in the janitorial space, what's a lesson what's a piece of advice you would share with them and say, hey, this, you can spare yourself a lot of pain with this. I don't know if it's proprietary or if
No,
there's something
absolutely.
that you would
Um,
share.
and something I do on the YouTube channel is on Commercial Cleaning CEO is I do like to give a lot of practical advice. There's a lot of just general, you can do it out there, right? And it's like, yeah, like, okay, we can only go so far with that. What can we actually um, practically do? I would say the thing that people have to constantly be focusing on, and I would put it this way. A mentor once told me that what creates a successful CEO or business owner is how frequently they return to signal. And I'll explain what that means. Is signal is what actually moves the needle, right? So you're getting signal, and it moves the needle up or down. If you're missing it, and there's noise, right, on the radio, then you just don't know what's going on, and things slow down. Like nothing happens, right? Everything stalls. So signal is we're doing exactly what we need to do to actually drive the company forward. We're getting the results from our marketing. We're retaining clients. We're driving profitability through the way we set up our operations. Our team is sticking around longer because of how we build culture. So activities that actually build the company. Noise is things that maybe sometimes need to happen. Like they can become signal, but most of the time they're just things that aren't going to drive the company forward. So that is getting a phone call from a marketing service that you don't even want to work with, right? And you're just going to sit there on the phone with them. You just want to be polite with them and hear them out for an hour. All right, that's noise, right? When you could have been doing something else in your business. Also, what's noise is sitting around looking at your profitability too long, just enjoying looking at it. Like you can just manage yourself to death, and your company can die. So what my mentor was saying was, most small business owners who are new to the game, they will get distracted by the noise, and they'll get stuck in the noise for like a week or a month or a year, and then realize their business is just diving down, right? And it's easy to stay in the noise because it's the false sense of progress. I'm doing some things, I'm busy, but it's not really achieving anything. It just feels okay. But high caliber CEOs and business owners, they return to signal every moment. They're thinking, this moment right now, am I doing something that is driving towards or driving the needle forward, right? Moving the ball down the field like in football, right? Like what is going to get the next yard? What pass is going to give us 20 yards? So what is the signal that I need to be focusing on right now? I heard someone say, to wrap that up, like with Steve Jobs, he was obsessed with 18 hours. He didn't have all these 20-year plans and these exact paths to how he was going to get there, any of that. It was just, what's the signal for the next 18 hours? And that's it. It was just an obsession with that. So that's what I see from our clients and with our franchisees. It's like, focus on what's going to drive that needle constantly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's fascinating. I feel like it's really hard to tell sometimes what is the noise and what is busyness and what is actually making a difference. Is there some kind of like framework or thought process or a question that you use? Or is it just a matter of understanding your business well, of having kind of operational processes in place that help you cut out that noise?
Sure. Okay. No, that's a great question. And I probably should come up with a framework for it, but here's what I think of. And I'm not perfect with this by any means either, right? I'm not a billionaire in an ivory tower, any of that. But we've had some moderate success. So what we do is, the way I think about it, first is time. Am I doing something that's going to save someone else time? Am I doing something that's going to save me time? In what way is it going to impact time? Because starting with the most valuable resource that humans have, and then trying to affect that resource, give them that most valuable resource back, whether it's our frontline workers all the way up through management to myself, or even to our clients, right? Those are the kind of things that are going to directly and indirectly drive your business forward, because it creates massive value that people experience within your company whenever you're doing something based on how can I save them time. A good a good example of that is just simply having a good hiring procedure in place, right? So if hiring is taking your management team 40 hours a week, how can you have a procedure there to do 20 hours a week? Well, for our company, we have a system that allows us to do it in 2 hours a week with a company our size. So that was a massive investment of my time to buy back months of my life, years of my life, right? I put it all up front to buy that time. That's an example of signal, because now we can focus on growing more, right? That just turns into let's grow faster, right? Next one would be money, right? So you got time, you got money. Is it putting more money in someone's pocket? Simply put. And the next one would be creating positive, this sounds strange, but creating positive feelings in your business. Because in the janitorial industry, our product is not like Tesla, right? Where Elon Musk can just, he can bully whoever he wants on the line, right? That car's coming out, someone's going to buy it, right? It's going to turn out the same every time. In our industry, you tick someone off, they're not liking their job, they go out there to clean, it's probably going to show, right?
Yeah, quality goes down, and
Oh, it does, right? So the way I think about it is culture. So if you're able to build positive feelings at the base level of anyone who interacts with your company, and even in yourself, so it starts with you as the owner, then that's going to be signal and grow your business. So you got time, money, and those positive feelings.
Yeah, those are all interesting. In terms of positive feelings, how do you help culture feel authentic instead of gimmicky, like here's our, $10 gift card? And I don't know, maybe that is great. Maybe I pulled a bad example, but.
No, you're nailing it. Because some people can see that, a lot of people do see that as like a cop-out, right? It almost backfires if you do it wrong, right? So in a way, culture is scalable, but also not scalable, especially at the beginning. You have to do things that would be difficult to do later on, but you got to start it off. So there's a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think everyone needs to read it if they're a business owner. Dale Carnegie wrote it. It's a very fundamental book, but it is, if you break any of those fundamentals, that's where a lot of the issues are coming from that I see in people's businesses with how they deal with people. Well, the very first one is everyone wants to feel important. So if someone feels like a number, then they're going to treat you like you're a number. You're just another job to them, right? So what we really are cognizant of in the way that we deal with our interview process, our applicants, our franchisees, clients, we want everyone to know that someone cares about them. Someone is, if they have a problem, someone's going to hear them out, someone's going to be concerned about it. So what we did is created a feedback loop in our company. So every once in a while, we used to do them once a quarter. It just depends on the routes and the teams and managers now. But we set aside opportunities for the employees to sit down with a manager or even myself and give feedback on the job without us telling them what to do, without us saying, hey, there's this complaint over here, there's this going on over here, or have you done this yet? All this like management talk coming straight to you, but actually just setting aside just moments intentionally and just saying, so how is it going? What can I do? Well, is there anything I need to get you? Is that vacuum working well for you? Like what do you need to be successful at what you're doing? And positioning ourselves as like the foundation for their success. That's just a small example, right? We do staff parties and we'll bring food and, things like that as well, but really showing genuine appreciation. And you can give gift cards, you can bring food, but if you don't have those like real conversations about how can we help you, then people are not going to buy in to all the other gimmicky stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So really that one-on-one interpersonal interaction, you can't replicate that through.
Right. And as an owner, you can scale it, but you have to do it with your managers. Like you have to start the company yourself, right? At some level. And that culture has to get contagious. So if you're already at $1 million and you need to turn your company around, that's what makes it hard. but it's not impossible. We had to turn our company around at one point. That's when I learned how important this was. I had to take the time with all of them. And eventually that was expected. And eventually it was contagious. And then eventually the managers carried it with them. And then the managers could handle it from there. And then we could scale.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like you've built something that can scale. I mean, you've got a franchise now, which is pretty exciting, you know.
It is.
Taking something that works in one place and
copy and
pushing
paste,
it out
man.
there. Yeah.
There's scale, right? Like that's people want to like develop these sexy businesses, but it really just comes down to just copy and paste the basics, right? You got to do them really well. Like there are complexities to doing the basics, but do what works over and over again.
Yeah. What do you see for the future of Assett?
Oh man. So I don't know where this podcast is going. I don't know who's going to listen to it, but we want to be the number one commercial cleaning company in the United States. And really not just to, and here's why. So this industry changed my life. I got into it, struggled with it at first, more than a decade ago. And then when we did it right, within 12 months, it changed my life based on the amount of money. And there's a video that I've done out there that shows how much money I was making within 12 months, multi 6 figures. So and then I never had to work for anyone else ever again. I hope not, right? You know, God can always have a different idea at any point. So always acknowledge him, right? Be thankful. But for most, just looking in general, we've been very blessed. So the franchise model is there because I love creating that for other people. Why not let them do the same thing? They don't have to go through the torture that I went through with other companies and other businesses that were struggling, right? Like just copy and paste what works. And we're here to help you do it along the way. And then the way it's structured is we are only going to make money if they make money. We're incentivized to work with them to help them grow. Unlike a lot of other franchises that try to just milk everything. We don't do that. We help people build self-sustaining commercial cleaning companies, and they can go travel the world. They can do whatever they want.
That's great. Well, I think if anyone can do it, Matt, it's you.
Oh man, Lord willing, right? We'll see.
I mean, you've got great energy. I think you're one of the kindest people that I met, and I think you're building something great.
You need to talk to my wife.
That is a true test, right? The
yes,
true test of character.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I want to thank you for joining us. I think it's been an excellent, high impact conversation. And thanks for joining us on our inaugural episode here, Tech and Tidy.
Brent. I was honored when you reached out. My pleasure.
Yeah, I know. And I've got a little popper here. So
there we
to
go.
our first episode.
Yeah, do it.
None of that confetti came in camera.
You needed to mail me a
I should have. Yeah. They come in a 10-pack at Walmart, so there you go.
Yeah, oh man. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
All right, Matt. Well, thanks for joining us, and really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Best of luck to you. Well, that wraps up our first episode of Tech and Tidy. If you enjoyed listening and want to hear more conversations with operators, owners, and innovators in the cleaning industry, be sure and follow Tech and Tidy. New episodes are coming soon.